I am joined by Hikaru Nakamura, who just defeated Dominguez. Hikaru, your thoughts about the match?
Yeah, I think today's game was an interesting battle in the opening. I think both of us were a little bit confused. I thought what Lenier did with this whole bishop e6 and c3 is not supposed to be particularly good. But then on the other hand, when I played d5 and knight d7, he had this look on his face like he thought that I had made a mistake. So I mean, it's really hard to judge what happened. But somewhere in the middle game, I think that Lenier relaxed a little bit too much. He thought that it was always okay, or it was very simple to play. And I mean, once I got this pawn on a5 and this grip on the queen side, I think it was quite hard for him to play. And then he played this move, bishop takes bishop on b4, which I thought was just, an insane move to play. I mean, I spoke to him briefly after the game, and he thought he could do anything and still save the game. But I mean, once I get this horse on c5, or knight or whatever, I think it's just, realistically very hard to defend. And I don't think my technique was necessarily the cleanest, because even once I won his queen, he still had some tricks, but the position was two winning, I guess you could say. And so it's good to get a win and move into the match, the final match of the winner's bracket.
Yeah, it was a very nice game, especially very instructive from the viewer's perspective. A few days ago, you said you weren't having so much fun or not enjoying yourself. Was today different? Did you enjoy actually squeezing Lenier in this game?
I didn't enjoy it because it felt like I should be winning. And I still had to do a lot of work. Basically around the time that I got the knight on c5, and first I thought I had to be winning before he played f3. Then he went f3, and it still required a lot of work. So it was nice to be in a position where only I could win. But after the mishaps in the first match, I was not counting on anything. But I think that I kept it together pretty well. Didn't get too low on time, and yeah, if you get good position, sooner or later you have to win. But I wouldn't say that I'm enjoying it. It's a win, but I still feel like there are things that I could have done, or things that I should strive for that could have been better. So it's good to get the win, but I feel like there's room for improvement.
Fair enough. And with this win, you crossed the 2800 rating. Wanted to ask how important rating is for you at this stage of your career, and are you trying to get the candidate spot through the rating?
Yeah, so it's funny because, I think if you look at this event, realistically, I should have won one of the first two games against Mishra, and probably I should have drawn both games against Lenier. So, I think it's relatively speaking a wash on that front. I don't really think about rating that much. I will say that I'll probably play Norway chess in the World Cup, but the notion of playing 40 games, I've spoken about this a lot in recent times, is not realistic. I basically have to make a decision. Do I want to focus on the freestyle chess, or do I want to try and play 40 games? And people probably won't like the realistic take I have, but I think if you ask any top player, they will say that getting to the candidates is very tough. Winning the candidates is basically a lottery. So I don't think anybody is going to prioritize that over playing freestyle. So for me, with all the freestyle events, that's going to be my focus. 40 games is not going to happen, and probably I'll leave it up to the World Cup, or maybe to make a bit of the joke. Some years back, Magnus criticized me. He said I was playing all these Mickey Mouse tournaments and winning them. But he decided to go play a Mickey Mouse tournament in Norway, play a couple of games, and so maybe if I'm feeling really creative, I'll go find some of those Mickey tournaments and try to get 40 games. But realistically, that's not on the cards.
Okay, and coming into tomorrow, you're either playing Fabiano or Levon. They're about to play their Blitz playoff. Will you be watching that? And who's your pick for the Champions bracket?
Yeah, I'm not going to be watching that. I think I'm just going to go do a recap and try to relax, because today's game was pretty tough. In terms of who I would prefer to face, I don't really have a preference. I think that Levon is perhaps a little bit more dangerous in my opinion, because when I've looked at his games, it felt like there was this period from maybe 2023 up until about mid to late 2024 where I think, at least in my opinion, he was struggling with form, because I think he was kind of struggling to come to grips with the fact that he wasn't a top 5 player anymore. But in the last 6 to 8 months, he's played some very inspiring chess. I really like some of the games that he played in the Olympiad. So I think he's objectively more dangerous. I think that Fabiano, of course, you can't discount him, but he's in a very strange situation where he's basically playing this whole year with nothing on the line since he already qualified for the candidates. So maybe I would very slightly prefer to play Fabiano, but either way, it's going to be a good match no matter who I face.
And final question, of course, you're going to do your recap now. What do you do after your recap? Do you look at more chess, or do you just take it easy?
I think that these days when I come into tournaments, I tend to have a couple of like sort of set ideas of what I'm going to play for, and hopefully it works out. It seems, with modern day chess, you don't get busted out of the opening that frequently. So I usually have a set repertoire of openings that I'm going to play in the tournament, which means that I just do a little bit of review. But I would say after I play these games and do the recap, I take like an hour or two and just chill, just no chess.
All right, well, enjoy your chill time. Thanks for joining, and we'll send it back to the studio.
Thank you, Eric. What's wrong with Mickey Mouse tournaments? I mean, come on. Mickey Mouse tournaments
Want to play
are
that,
good.
Nasser?
Results, Kate?